Welcome to the Coach Toolbox. I'm your host, Dr. Ajay Nangalia, a leadership coach and counselor. This channel supports your professional and personal development as a leader with research-based and practice-focused learning. And we bring you the best career and life advice from guests who've been there and done that successfully. And now, our session today.
Let's start today by trying to understand the personal change process. You've been wanting to make some changes in your lifestyle for quite some time now, but something always comes up or the timing just doesn't seem to be right. The stars never seem to be aligned correctly for you to start your journey towards a healthy eating pattern or starting a physical activity program or any other personal change that you've been wanting to do. Some of you may even have done the research about what to do and taken a few steps in the right direction, but were not able to sustain it more than a few days. And unfortunately, when we are unable to move towards the personal change that we aspire to make, we start judging ourselves. I don't have the discipline. I can't control myself. Or we condemn ourselves. I'm such a loser. Or we just feel really terrible and guilty and so on. None of these states are helpful for you to move ahead and can keep you locked in a maladaptive pattern of behavior. However, if you were to understand, based on a research model, what you are experiencing about the personal change you aspire to make, then it's easier to find more effective ways of supporting yourself and others. The model I'm talking about is the Trans-Theoretical Model of Personal Change, or TTM for short, or it's also called Prochaska's model because it was originally proposed by Prochaska and his colleagues. TTM model or the Prochaska model helps us understand where we are in the personal change process and then take actions as appropriate. So according to this model, when a person is considering making a personal change in his life, for example, starting an exercise program or giving up smoking or any other such thing, there are 6 stages that a person can go through. And these six stages are: number 1, pre-contemplation; number 2, contemplation; number 3, preparation; number 4, action; number 5, maintenance; and number 6, relapse. And we'll discuss these stages and I'll explain them in a bit more detail. So remember, these are conceptual stages and not each person goes through each stage in a sequence. And furthermore, a person can be stuck in one stage of change for a long time and then progress rapidly to the next one. Therefore, it's the important truth for us to realize is that a personal change is a process. It's a journey. It's not a single event or a one-step action. It's a series of iterations, starts and stops and lapses, and picking up oneself again and restarting, and this cycle just continues. So while we present the 6 phases of change as a linear concept, it's only to understand the model and the stages. In real life, it's not linear and it's messy. But because you have an understanding of what's happening with you, you can adapt your actions and the way you're thinking about things in more helpful ways rather than the unhelpful ways that we talked about earlier. Remember, each one of us will experience the stage and overall process in a way that is unique to us. So each person's experience will be different. Your understanding of the TTM model can support your own personal change journey and help others around you. So, as I start to explain the 6 stages of personal change, think about a couple of areas in your life where you're struggling with making some behavior or habit or lifestyle change. And think about someone you know from your inner circle, either at work or your personal life, who also keeps talking about change but is struggling. Once you understand the 6 stages, you'll be better able to deal with the process for yourself and to support your friend or colleague. So remember, the 6 stages are pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, maintenance, and relapse. Let's understand each one a bit better. Number 1, pre-contemplation. Exactly what the word says. In pre-contemplation, the person is not even thinking about any change. He or she is probably ignorant or in denial or has a blind spot with respect to what everyone else can see that she or he needs to change. And this could be losing weight or easing up on the drinking or chocolates or aggressive behavior or smoking. These are just a few examples. The person feels that nothing will happen to him or her, and the consequences of the behavior will not affect him personally, though science says otherwise, or they just don't want to deal with it right now. So, changing is not on this person's radar, and unfortunately, often this is just the person who needs to take action before they land up in the hospital or lose the promotion. So, this is called pre contemplation. Do you know anyone like this? Perhaps that person in the mirror? Let's come to the second stage. The second stage is contemplation, and as the name suggests, the person starts to think about change, contemplation. Perhaps something is beginning to stir within. Someone the person respects finally says something, or there is a small incident that opens up the person's eyes, or something happens to a known person and it shakes up the individual. So now the person starts thinking and talking about the fact that she or he needs to make that change. At this point in time, she's not even sure what to do or how to do it. So she looks at options such as joining a gym or maybe even on an impulse buying some jogging shoes, but there is no sustained action. Sure, some sporadic bursts are there, some attempts are there, but it's very start and stop, very quickly stop. The effort is not getting embedded in one's life. The person may even get knowledgeable about a subject because of the reading and research and conversations that he has, but there is no action. The third stage is preparation. Now, in this stage, the person starts to take a few baby steps, or there is a more concrete plan to really make the change. Perhaps the person has joined a group or is working with a coach or a counselor and is beginning to see how the change process can be implemented for him or her specifically. This was the preparation stage. And finally, she is ready to take the next step, which is action. So stage 4 is action, and it is an action phase where the movement starts. Up till now, it's been mostly in the mind and perhaps a few experimental starts and stops. Now, there is a regularity in the change process, and actions are gaining some momentum. Ideally, a person should be taking action for at least 6 months to really embed behavior change till it becomes part of one's lifestyle. And when this happens, a person moves into stage 5, which is called maintenance. So when the change has been happening for at least 6 months or so, then the person is in the maintenance stage. In this stage, the person is learning to make the change part of her lifestyle. The change has become a habit, such as going for a morning jog or working out at the gym 3 days a week, or reducing smokes to perhaps just 3 a day, and so on. And finally, the 6th stage is relapse. One must be alert to the risk of relapse, of reverting back to the old days. Due to some stress or life situation, behaviors that have been given up can surface. So one starts smoking again because of a personal crisis. So the lesson is that we must each have a recovery plan to put into action when, not if, but when relapse happens. So as we bring our conversation to a close today, we've understood the 6 stages of personal change. Let's go back to the areas that you're struggling in life, or think about the other person from your inner circle. Can you see which stage of change you or they are in? Now that you understand that this is part of the change process, you don't have to feel guilty or judge yourself or think you're a loser, because the truth is that you're probably just in the contemplation or preparation stage and you're still a distance away from the action stage. Most times, what happens is just we assume we ourselves or someone within our circle must instantly jump into action because it's good for them, or because you've spent an hour convincing them, and when they don't, you get upset. Now remember that they're probably just in the contemplation or preparation stage and probably need some more time to tip over into action. So what are now some strategies that you can use to support yourself or a friend in each of these stages? Let's discuss these stage-specific strategies in our next episode. For today, our goal was to understand Prochaska's model of personal change, and I encourage you to start thinking about it. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss the next episode, in which we'll talk about specific strategies for each phase. Till then, good luck.
And that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Please connect with us on coachtoolbox@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to follow, subscribe, and review this channel. Details of our ICF-approved coach training programs and our services as executive coaches and coaching supervisors are on www.globalcoachtrust.org. See you in our next session.